Nobody likes Sailor Moon. This was a bust. We shouldn't have done this. We just went out and got Sailor Moon, and nobody likes Sailor Moon. But I think that's okay. What you want to do? Oh yeah, lots of communication going on. Weird. Anyway, so since no one likes Sailor Moon, Linda Ballantyne decided to join us today, and she's very upset now that no one likes Sailor Moon. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take your questions. If you have questions, she will answer them to the best of her ability, unless they are like mathematic problems, and then I'll leave that up to her. But I'm not gonna field those. So if you have a question, raise your hand, and I'll. This young lady has a question.
Just like that.
She
Fortune
is
favors
ready
the bold,
to go.
and you are the bold child.
She is ready to go. We like that. Woo! We don't like that. That's pretty bad. And slide by Willstone and go over here.
Do you speak Japanese?
That's actually a good question.
Konnichiwa. No. However, my daughter went over to Japan. She was one of about 20 kids that was picked in Canada, because I'm from Canada. Yay, Canada. And she got to go over to Japan and see all of the efforts that they had done when the earthquakes had happened, and to see all the rebuilding. So she speaks a little bit of Japanese, but this girl, not so much.
It's not really a hazard of your job. You don't really have to do that.
No, sometimes I have to fake it, but yeah.
Can you fake it? I'm really interested.
See? Hi.
That's interesting.
It's as close as I can get.
Nice. Questions. Here we go, right here. You're the closest to me. What's up? Give me a 5. You're awesome. I like your dress.
How did you get started being the American voice of Sailor Moon?
How did I get started being the voice of Sailor Moon? That's a good question. Audition. I went to an audition. Now, I was the 3rd voice of Sailor Moon. They had Tracy Moore did the first, I think she did about 6 or 7 episodes. And then Terry Hawks did about 60 episodes. And then Terry Hawks got pregnant with twins. The most blessed twins on the planet as far as this girl is concerned. So they had auditions, and you know, it's funny, I'd seen Sailor Moon on TV. My nieces watched Sailor Moon, and I would go over and babysit, and I go, I could totally do that voice. I could totally do that. And they're like, shut up, Aunt Linda, we're watching. And you know, she'd be like, ah, and I'd be like, see it? Ah! And I'd be doing it in the background. They'd be like, shut up, Aunt Linda. It's not about you. And I'm like, stupid kids.
But now it is. Now it is.
But now it is.
Yes.
So when I went to this audition, I was sort of like, I think I can do this. But that day, that very day, I got very, very, very sick. I had the worst cold you could imagine, and it literally came out of nowhere. I was losing my voice. My head was so congested. And I was sitting there going, I hate this, because I want to give this a good shot. And they weren't just auditioning for Sailor Moon. They were auditioning for Sailor Mars, Sailor Venus, a couple of different ones, because some of them just couldn't do the next series. So I went in there going, I really wanted to do well, and I feel so sick. And I went, okay, I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk while I'm in the waiting room. I'm just going to do this thing. And when it's time, I'll go in and just, if I can find a voice at the time, I'll do it. And everybody in the waiting room, of course, is like, oh, Ballantyne, she's in a 15 mood today. Look at her, she's not talking to anybody. I'm just like, I'm saving my voice, I'm saving my voice. So I went in there and auditioned, and I had this terrible cold, but it kind of was to my advantage, because they wanted me to sound as much as I could like Terry Hawks. And her voice is very much in her nose. That's the kind of sound she had. So when I auditioned, I sounded literally exactly like her. Every time I get a cold, I go, oh, I sound like Sailor Moon today. Oh, wow. And it's this most bizarre thing. And then I sort of walk around talking like this all the time. I sound like Sailor Moon. Yeah, I do. So I sounded exactly like her. And they were just like, this is it. This is who we need. This is who we need. And then after I got the part, I didn't have a cold anymore. And then I had to figure out how to sound like I had sounded without having a cold. And that's when I kind of started to freak out. I actually literally had thoughts of packing Kleenex up my nose so that I would sound like I was congested. And then I went, what am I doing? If I pack Kleenex up my nose, I'm gonna have to do this for all these episodes. And I ended up doing 90-something episodes. That would not have been comfortable. I would have looked like Rocky Balboa by the time I finished, for sure. Like a nose that wide. So anyways, I managed to figure it out on my own somehow.
funniest thing that had happened to you during your recordings?
Oh my goodness, tons of funny things happen. Because it's funny, you know, when you do these recordings, you're usually in the booth all by yourself. So, you know, you're just sort of standing there, getting a voice on and doing your thing, and it's good. Every now and then you get to go in with another person. So, you know, like every now and then if I was doing a lot of lines, say with Renee, they would bring us in together. And good old Sugar Lynn, like, she's about that tall in real life, maybe that tall. She's a little thing. And so we were always making fun of each other. And then there was the one episode when we sort of switched over. Remember Sailor Moon and Minnie Moon sort of switched, and Sailor Moon went younger, and we were hysterical because at one point, you know, Renee goes, "Get a load of these!" And we could not stop laughing. We were laughing so hard, and it was just like the tears coming down. They're like, "Okay, can we continue? Can we continue?" We're like, "Just one more second." However, one of the things that happens when you're in the booth, maybe just to me, and this only stays in this room, okay? You over there in the back, yeah.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, this is all hush hush. So I'm in the booth, and what happens when you're doing it? You're not just doing like a voiceover going, "Oh, go! Oh, I'm getting hit! You have to put your entire body into it. So if I'm getting hit, I'm going, and you are really forcing out a lot. So there I am, I'm up there, and I'm just like, getting just beaten up by some villain. I'm like, and then I have to do my transformation, and I'm like, Moon, Cosmic, and let's just say I let a little one squeak out. And you could kind of hear it. And I'm like in the booth going, and they're like, "Okay, that was great." And I'm like, "Could we maybe do that one again? Because I felt like I was a little off." And they're like, No, that was fine." I'm like, "Oh God." So who knows? Maybe if you listen back really carefully, one of the episodes, you might hear Moon Cosmic.
To the internet.
Yeah, and that stays in this room.
That's right. Here we go.
Very big fan of the show since I was little.
And a very good artist.
But there's always one question I wanted to ask. As you played Sailor Moon, out of all of her relationships in the show, the Sailor Scouts, her daughter from the future, and of course her future husband, which one did you like the most?
What relationship did I like the most? Well, to be honest, I mean, Darian was so romantic all the time. Ooh. But really, I think probably the thing that I liked the most, the relationship I liked the most, was me and Mars. Because there's nothing like fighting with another woman. And we were just constantly arguing back and forth. And they would let me say whatever I wanted in those arguments. Sometimes they'd try to script it, but it was just, are you kidding? All I wanted to do is like, "Oh, come on, Ray, you're just, who are you calling a meatball head?" And just being able to go back and forth with her. And of course, Katie Griffin, who is Sailor Mars, is like one of my best friends. And she should be sitting here right beside me right now. Where are you, Katie?
Thanks, Katie.
Stupid Sailor
You
Mars.
jerk.
Late again, Mars, late again. Anyways, I would say that was for sure one of my favorite things.
What was your favorite episode that you did?
Well, I liked an S. I loved acting the part where everybody's basically dying around me. I know it sounds bad to say, but I loved acting that because it was, you know, it was really heartfelt. And I remember when I was doing it, when we were recording it, first of all, we didn't get any scripts ahead of time, ever. So we would just walk into the booth, and they had a big screen up in front of us, and they would play the show, and over top of it, they'd have our lines, and our lines would go by, kind of like in karaoke. And you would just read along with the bouncing ball, basically, and do your lines. So we didn't know what was happening in the show. We didn't know what was coming up. And because I had a lot of lines, I got to really watch the whole show unfurl. And so as the episode's going through, I was watching it like you guys, right? I'm sitting there, you know, doing this, going, no, all my friends are dying around me, no. And I'm saying the lines, and then I'd be like, and they'd say, Linda, that was your line? I was like, just let me watch the rest of this. Just give me a moment if you don't mind. So that, I love doing that. But for sure, one of my favorite episodes to do was when Serena got drunk on juice. Oh, I don't feel so good. Oh. And then she got to throw up. That's always fun. Throwing up is always fun. Yes, I said it.
Yeah, okay. Just checking. Is that sort of it? Just from folks that I know that do voice acting, especially for anime, is that sort of standard that you guys don't have a script that you read before time? You just get in there and do it because they want your instant reaction.
Well, it depends on what kind of animation you're talking about. If it's a dubbing, which Sailor Moon was
Right.
dubbing, then they'll give you scripts nowadays, but then they just didn't. If it's original animation, they record our voices first. Before they even do any of the pictures, they record our voice, and then they draw it afterwards. So a lot of times, it gives you so much more freedom doing original animation because you can put in little quirks and little things. You can make a character really your own. You can sort of like, oh, come on. Maybe the line is only written, come on, and you're going, come on. And they're going to draw that in. They're going to go, oh, I like that. So, come on. So your character looks more like, come on. So it's fun. It's fun doing it that way.
Questions? Here we go.
Do you have any advice for anyone trying to get into voice acting or anime voice acting or anything like that?
Advice for anybody who wants to get into voice acting: don't do it. You're going to try and take my job. No, just kidding. If you think voice acting, a lot of people think voice acting is probably the greatest job in the world, and they're completely and utterly right. It is the most fun. It is as much fun as you would think it would be. You get to go into a room and you get to play and play and play. But it's not for everyone, and it is definitely a skill that you need to develop. Because a lot of people come over to me and they say, I can do this great voice. Listen to all these different voices I can do, and it's like, that's awesome. But can you act? Can you take somebody else's words and give them life? And that's the hardest thing about it. But probably the hardest thing about voice acting is hearing the word no. I have been so lucky in my career. I have worked so much. I've done so many different things, and yet I hear the word no every single week. Somebody. Not you. And it's hard because you're putting yourself out there and you're saying, I love this part. This is totally me. Oh my God. And then they're like, no, it's not you. It's going to be her. It's like, that, and also finding somebody who really believes in you. Because if you have somebody who believes in you, and this is for any kind of work at all, if you have somebody who believes in you, you can do anything. And there has been a number of times that I've gone, that's it, I can't do this, I'm just a fake, no one wants me, they're never gonna hire me, I suck, I'm terrible at this. And as long as you have somebody in your corner that says, you're wrong, and you are really good at this, and it's usually my husband, I'm lucky that way, and my older brother, he's always just like, are you an idiot? Just shut up and keep doing it. And I go, okay, all right. That, and also go on to voicebank.net. Voicebank.net is a library of all of the voice actors in maybe even the world, but certainly in North America. And it's got everybody's demo on it. And you can hear everybody's demo tape. Mine is on there. You can hear what they sound like, what all the different sounds are. You can maybe find an actor that you think you're kind of like, and you'll be able to hear the different voices they do, and you can kind of go, oh, I want to try that, or I'll try that too. And sort of, you can form your own demo around it.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer originating a role, or like Sailor Moon, trying to be more like the voice actor or actress from before?
So you're saying, do I like doing original animation?
Right. Well, like in the instance of Sailor Moon, would you rather come in behind another actress so that you have to mimic her voice, or would you rather just, hey, here's a brand new role?
No, it's hell. It's hell trying to imitate somebody else. With Sailor Moon, it was hard because I was stepping into very, very, very big shoes. Very big shoes. And to me, still, the voice of Sailor Moon is Terry Hawks, because that's the one that I heard. And it's taken me a long time to own the fact that I am Sailor Moon. When I got the part, I was so excited. I was like, I get this call from my agent. She said, okay, well, you got Sailor Moon. I was like, oh my God. And I went downstairs. My husband was in the basement with his buddy Tony. And I came downstairs, and I remember sitting on the stairs, and I said, I just got Sailor Moon. And they said, oh, no way. And I said, yeah. My buddy, Tony, said, what part? And I said, I got the part of Sailor Moon. He goes, oh, no way. Well, you better be good, because my kids watch. And that's when the penny dropped. That's when I went, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? I'm gonna be hated. And I'm thinking of, you know, when in the Flintstones, they changed the voice of Barney partway through. And I hated one of the Barneys. I hated him. Every time he came on, I was like, oh yeah, I hate that Barney. And I'm like, I'm the new Barney. I'm Barney. So it really freaked me out. And when I went in there for the first few episodes, they kept getting me to go higher and higher and screaming and screaming and screaming. So all I was doing is going, ah, 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 the whole time, and it made me crazy. I hated that voice so much, and they kept making me do it more and more. And I would come home literally every time I had recorded, I'd be crying, saying, I hate this part. This is so hard, and it's not what it should sound like. And my husband would say, you have to make this your own. And I'm like, you don't understand. They don't want me, they want Terry. And he'd say, babe, it's your part now. You have to make it your own. I'm like, just pretend for a second that you know anything. So I kept doing this, and I would hammer myself, and I'd go in there, and I'd record and be like, and it just made me a crazy person. And my husband kept saying, you have to make it your own. So finally one day I'm driving into work, and I can feel everything getting tense. I'm just like, oh, here we go again. I'm gonna be screaming away again. And then I stopped and I went, what are you doing, Linda? Well, if you got to start from the beginning, how would you change this? What would you do? And I went, well, I'm talking to myself in my car because I'm a crazy person. So I'm sitting there and I'm literally saying out loud, okay, well, here's the thing. What is it about teenagers? This is a teenage girl. And I'm like, well, teenage girls are a complicated order. I got 3 of them at home right now. Oh my Lord, they are complicated. And I'm saying, you know, on the one hand, they want to be children still. They want to be goofy little idiots because that's what they are and it's all they've ever known. But on the other hand, they're just starting to become adults and they want to think that they're adults and they want to do all this stuff. So I'm going, I want to find that balance. And that's that day in the studio, I completely changed everything. I changed how I wanted the voice to sound. I changed what her attitude was like. And it felt so good. And I came home that day and my husband's sort of like, so how did it go today? And I was like, it was so good. And he's like, what just happened? Huh? And I said, yeah, I finally figured it out. I just had to make it my own. And my husband went, that's a good idea, honey.
Did you tell him about the car conversation?
I did not.
I imagine that, like...
He already knows I'm crazy.
I imagine you were, like, parked and you would get around and get on the other side of the car and sit down in the passenger seat and be like, Linda, you've got to get it together.
Okay, Linda. Yes, Linda? Well, Linda.
Nice. I'd imagine that is difficult, especially following someone like that. But it's great that you're able to make it your own.
I did.
Awesome. Questions? Questions? I'm coming. Let's do some questions. All right, Crystal. Come back around to you.
Hi, first of all, I just want to say I love you. You're amazing. You're my childhood.
Yes.
Running off of the last question, how would one get into voice acting?
Well, you know, it's all changed a lot. When I started out, there was no internet. How bizarre is a world without internet? I'll tell you. So I went to theater school. And in theater school, you know, I was learning all the acting techniques and stuff. They had movement, they had vocal technique, you know, singing, they had everything. And one of the courses that they did was microphone technique. And when I got in front of that microphone and I put those headphones on, I immediately knew that this is what I wanted to do. I loved it. It was so easy for me and just so much fun, and I could lose myself in my own head, and that's when I knew that I wanted to do it. I had an agent. I went over to my agent. I said, I've got a demo, so definitely you should have a demo for sure. You should make a demo, just like about a 60-second to 90-second demo. It doesn't have to be anything long, with just little bits, just showcasing all of your different stuff. And I went in there and I said, I've got a demo. I don't know. I think I'd like to do voice. And my agent, the first thing I went out for, I got. So I think my agent really believed in me. And I didn't stop working. But nowadays you can do a lot of it online. There's things like voices.com you can go on to, and you can audition right online and you can record. You can have a little recording studio in your house. So there's lots of different ways, I would say, to get into it.
So this gal I went to high school with, and she did Sailor Moon stuff before I even knew what it was. I was like, what are you wearing this skirt for? What's this thing on your head? What are you doing? And so like this, I didn't even know she was going to be here today. Like, so she's like Sailor Moon before I think anybody even knew Sailor Moon. So did you have a question, or did you just want me to embarrass you publicly? I mean, okay, question. Okay, you're welcome.
I want to second the previous comment about how you were my childhood. Seriously,
I love it.
Sailor Moon is my favorite thing ever. But my question is, do you have an opinion on Sailor Moon Crystal?
Do I have an opinion on Sailor Moon Crystal? Well, this is what I have to say about that. That and the redub. I am so glad that they came out with something else, to be quite honest with you. I will always be one of the originals, so they can never take that away from me. And so I go, yeah, baby. But I love the fact that they've now given the fans something else, because the fans have waited 20 years, and everybody's going, come on, just give me something else. And so it's really opened up a great discussion for the fans, you know, like the love-hate relationship that everybody has with Crystal and with the new redub. And I think it's great.
Questions? Sure.
Well, this brings to the question of the original Sailor Moon series. I actually found out that there was another season of Sailor Moon that hadn't been dubbed yet when I was 10. And it doesn't look like Viz won't dub it at all.
The Sailor Moon Stars one,
Yes.
you mean? The very final one? Yeah.
Yes.
So, with that, it was very difficult at the time, way back in the day. First of all, this show, Sailor Moon, came over from Japan, and it was really meant more for adults than it was for kids. So when they brought it over to North America said this is a show for kids. However, there are so many censorship laws, so they had to cut out a lot of stuff, first of all. Like, crazy, if a child was riding a bicycle in the show without a helmet on, cut it out. If you saw any kind of weapon at all, cut it out. Like if somebody had a gun, nope, they got to cut that out. So they were snipping out so many bits. That's why they have Sailor Moon Says in a lot of the episodes. Because they had so much time that they had to fill up, they didn't know what to do. They were sort of going, well, now it's too short to fit in a half-hour slot, so we've got to fill it up. So they put a little Sailor Moon Says thing in it. That's why they did that. Now, then as we moved through the series, and suddenly we have Uranus and Neptune, the cousins. Linda, not being the sharpest tool in the shed, is watching this as she goes along, and you know, Uranus and Neptune come on and their little faces go together and there's little hearts all over and ooh, ah, and I'm sort of watching going, they're cousins? Cousins, right? It's funny because I don't look at my cousin like that. Cousins. And I keep doing this every episode. I'm like, really? They're cousins? And finally, they're like, Linda. In Japan, they were lesbians. And I'm like, oh. I thought so.
I was just playing about that cousin stuff. I really knew.
But again, North America was not ready for that at the time. I wish they had. I wish that they had done it properly. I really do. But they said that they weren't ready. So the Stars one has a lot of transgender in it. And they flat out said, no way. We can wipe over this whole lesbian thing, but we can't wipe over this whole transgender. So they just said no. I would love to be able to finish that one, I'll tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby. Bring it. Bring it.
Stars was incredible. A good ending to Sailor Moon.
Ah, see, and I haven't even seen it, so I want to see it.
Questions? Questions? I'll come back over there. We'll get you. We'll go back over there.
If you could have voiced any other Sailor Scout, which one would it have been?
Ooh, if I could voice any other Sailor Scout, which one would it be? Well, I would love to do Mars because she was that little bit, let's just say, bitchy. I love that. I love the fact that she would just like totally call people out on stuff, go, what are you, stupid? Like, I love that part about her. Or I would do Jupiter. I love Jupiter. I loved her feistiness. I loved her. She was cool. She was cool. Jupes was cool. Jupes is cool. Susan Roman is a very cool woman. I worship that woman. Don't tell her I said that because it'll go right to her head.
This is a little off topic, but why is Canadian bacon ham?
Why is
Well, now.
Canadian bacon ham?
I have always wanted to know this.
Well, we call it back bacon in Canada, first of all. And so I'm totally Canadian, eh? And I got no idea why they call it that. Like, it's sort of like stupid if you ask me. But I wouldn't call it ham, I'll tell you that. Ham, back bacon. Yeah.
Or just bacon, or something else.
And then there's
It's fine.
poutine. Have you had poutine? Ugh. Have you had poutine? That's like the greatest thing on the planet. It's French fries with cheese curds and then gravy on it. Thank you, God, for poutine. Thank you.
Cheese curds aren't really like the thing down here. You say cheese curds and people are like, no, but they're really good.
Did you not hear the rest?
Oh, I did hear the
Gravy,
rest,
French fries, cheese curds melted.
Nice.
Love it. I
Question?
had catfish last night, though. It's great.
Questions?
Oh, there's a
the Ninja Turtle.
Percy! Could you tell what Percy?
I have no idea.
Did you say, could you talk like Percy?
Yes.
Oh my God, I was Percy.
Oh, yes.
I was the littlest engine Percy in Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Let me think of what Percy sounded like. This is hard. This is a long time ago. Let me think. Percy. I am brave. I am brave. Wait, let me think. I am brave. I am brave. It's not easy being brave. Oh.
Aw. Nice. Anybody else? Let's give Linda Ballantyne a big round of applause.
Wow, are we done already?
Yeah.
That was so easy. You guys were like, you didn't try to kill me or anything. I had another one that I had to tell you too. Let me just think of what it was. Oh, I have this one little stupid story that I have to tell you. Just because Sailor Moon fans are the greatest fans on the planet. Period. You got that right, baby. So, my daughter had her cell phone stolen. Lost or stolen, we're not really sure. The story changes every now and then. I'm like, really? But this was over a year ago. And on the cell phone, she had put on it, she locked it down so that, I guess you could do that through the computer. I never lose my phone, so I don't need to worry about stuff like that, but my idiot daughter does it all the time. So she had it, if found, contact Madeline at such and such. So a year after she loses this phone, out of nowhere, she gets this message. Hi, I have your phone. She's like, what? You have my phone? What just happened? So she contacts this girl, and the girl said, yeah, I bought this phone on the internet from somebody. And when I got it, I realized right away that it had been locked down and it was a stolen phone, and this guy was trying to make money on it. So I got my money back, but the guy said, oh, just keep the phone because I can't unlock it anyways. So she said she saw my daughter's name on there, and so she contacts her, and she said, so I want to just give you your phone back. And my daughter had put on there, reward if found. And the girl said, no, I don't want anything for it. No, this is your phone. You should be getting it back. So my daughter lives in Montreal right now, so I had to drive over to where this girl was. And as we're driving there, I said to my husband, I don't know what it is, but my gut is telling me that this girl is a Sailor Moon fan. I just can feel it in my bones. Should I be going back and getting a picture or something like that? And my husband's like, no, babe, not everybody's Sailor Moon fan. I'm like, squeeze me. So we get to see this girl, and the girl, of course, is in her 20s, and she's the sweetest little thing on the planet. And she's like, oh, I said, look, can I give you something for her? And she's like, no, 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 this is your daughter's phone. No, no, no. Sweetest girl in the world. So as I'm leaving, I'm just about to get in the car, and I stop and I go, I have to do it. I have to ask. I said, okay, this is either going to be the best question or the stupidest question you're going to hear all day. But out of curiosity, are you a Sailor Moon fan? She goes, oh my God, I love Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon this, blah, 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 blah. She starts talking about Sailor Moon nonstop. Like she's just, and I said, okay, the reason I ask is that I was actually the voice of Sailor Moon.
And then you had to call an ambulance because she just fell right on the ground.
Her jaw dropped. She's like absolutely, completely and utterly freaking out. And she's like total fangirling. And she's just, but I just knew in my heart, I went, anybody who's doing such a nice thing for somebody has had a very good influence in their life. Look at the way I take credit for it, right? I knew you were nice because of me. Yeah. Anyways, it turns out that she was a big, huge Sailor Moon fan, and like she went on and on. I even have the pajamas. I have this. I have that. She totally made my day. So, you guys, for sure, there's not a question about it. Sailor Moon fans are #1 for sure. I love you all. Thank you so much. You know, everybody says to me, "You don't understand. You were my childhood," and what you guys don't understand is you were my adulthood. And without you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. You guys were there when I was starting my career out, and you guys gave me, you know, backbone. You watched the shows that I did, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Let's give her a round of applause.
And I'm only going to be here for 1 more hour to sign autographs, so if you want, I'm right over there.
Right over there.
Or just come on by and say hi. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.